Dag iedereen and welcome back to TulipTV. You may have noticed in the past few episodes that my co-presenter Renske was expecting, and therefore we're very happy to welcome Katja de Bok, a Belgian contingent, to TulipTV. Katja, van harte welkom.
Dankjewel Tom, het is fijn om hier te zijn. Zoals jullie horen ben ik Vlaamse en geen Nederlandse, maar ik zal mijn best doen. And I'm happy to see all of our new viewers at TulipTV.
Great, nice to have a Belgian contingent to Tulip. So what is TulipTV? TulipTV is a Dutch-Canadian program which focuses on economic and social issues that link the two countries.
And as you can see, we are shooting in Vancouver and it's raining, so that's a very Dutch component, isn't it?
Absolutely, and very British Columbia.
It's a beautiful summer here. Enjoy it.
Coming up this week on TulipTV, we hear from composer Joël Bons and his work with the Vancouver Inter-Cultural Orchestra, take a tour at the countdown of the Calgary Stampede, learn about Citizens for Safe Cycling in Ottawa, and enjoy a taste of biking through Holland.
This program is sponsored by Dutch, the full-color English language magazine about the Netherlands and its people, at home and abroad. Canada to Leave is the online community for the Dutch living in Canada and the Canadians living in the Netherlands. Canada to Leave, wherever you live.
Historically, there's some strong cultural links between Canada and Holland. So Katja, what's up this week?
This week we speak with Joël Bons, that's a Dutch composer, and he came to Vancouver. He was commissioned by the Vancouver Inter-Cultural Orchestra.
Joël, where do you come from?
I'm coming from Amsterdam.
Did you study also there?
Right, I studied the conservatory, I did guitar and composition.
And why exactly guitar and composition?
Well, I started my own pop band as everybody did from my generation, and when I made my own songs and they became more and more difficult and I couldn't play them anymore. So I thought, how can you learn that? So I have to go to a conservatory. Then I went to in composition, and once you start playing, you always want to do a more difficult game. So it became a real challenge to study this fantastic thing, which is composition. And then I went abroad to Siena in Italy to study with Franco Donatoni, and later with Brian Ferneyhough in Freiburg.
Mm-hmm. Why did you pick these two specifically?
Well, there were not so many schools to study abroad, and there were just a few of them. Ligeti was in Hamburg, but he didn't accept any students. He's a very famous composer. So it was more or less by accident. I didn't even know them. And then once I got to know them, they were becoming like big fathers for me.
Mm-hmm. How would you describe the musical style? Because you're using classical instruments but not really to play classic music.
Well, maybe I should add something for this particular case. Yeah. The Vancouver Inter-Cultural Orchestra is a very interesting initiative, including non-Western instruments, because you have a large Asian community here. And similarly, I do something like that in Amsterdam, which is called the Atlas Ensemble. And this is quite unusual, because we normally, as composers, we write for Western instruments. But I have been growing up with a wonderful collection of records of my parents, knowing all these instruments from Vietnam, from China, from Japan, from Africa. And I always wondered, why do we always limit ourselves to just Western instruments as composers. I mean, if you want to have a real multicultural society, then it's really great to integrate these sounds. So now we just had the very first experience, so I was all geared up and
so you're positive and light.
Yes, I'm really, because at the beginning I thought, oh my God, I imagined something far too difficult and so on. But then, you know, slowly, And we're not at the tempo yet, so it's a little bit dragging, but it's coming. It's suddenly so wonderful experience to see that it's suddenly sounding as you imagined, and that it can work once you understand each other. That's really great. I mean, it's quite unique in art. If a writer writes something, that's the thing. If a sculptor makes or a painter, that's the object. We, composers, we're dependent on musicians, and musicians are dependent on composers. Without each other, you cannot do anything, unless you're an improviser, of course. But composers without musicians, you know, so you're in the hands of the musician, and you have to really collaborate. It's a very social and wonderful human thing, also.
Do you think that you learned actually something from the other cultures?
Yes, very much. I mean, the ways of playing. I even incorporated several things that I thought were Chinese, like glissandi, for instance, which is in their language, or the way they approach the music, the way they think about time. It's a different approach. And so we learn all the time from each other. That makes it so incredibly valuable. It's like, you know, if you look at art in general, whether it's visual or literature, once you read Iranian or Chinese poems or haikus from Japan, it's a different way of thinking, and it gives us so much. I think this intercultural exchange is really worthwhile and enriching.
Moshe, Mark, thank you that you had time for us. What is it all about, the event which you're organizing?
Mark, why don't you take off on that?
Okay, well, this is actually an event associated with the Olympics, and the VICO won a special award to commission pieces, and the award was supposed to link the local regional activity with international activity. And so the first person I thought of was Joël Bons.
And of course, the person that we have from Vancouver, who is a Canadian composer of quite great renown, his name is Stephen Chapman. And so the two main pieces in this concert that we are developing as part of this development project are the pieces by Joël Bons and the piece by Stephen Chapman. And the Stephen Chapman piece will include choir and a large array of intercultural instruments.
So where will it happen?
It happens at the Rothstein Theatre, which is an adjunct to the Jewish Community Center on Oak Street. Well, it's actually on 41st, just east of Oak Street.
Vancouver itself has always been a place where people make room for each other. I think that it's also been a place that the government promotes through policy and understanding of how people get together. I think the Vancouver Inter-Cultural Orchestra is using that to attract very different types of crowds. I feel in Vancouver, you always have to keep in mind in about 20 years, it's going to be an Asian city. So it's very different, it's transforming itself very quickly. Building infrastructure, building communication vehicles like the Vancouver Inter-Cultural Orchestra is part of building a city that is open and available, so people who bring their skills and their riches and their ideas here can feel at home, can express themselves, and of course relate to their particular community. And so we don't want to have a sectional city where the Chinese live here and the Indians live here and the Iranians live here. We want to have it so that it is intercultural, so people are learning off each other and enjoying each other's culture.
Well, as you know by now, TulipTV does feature tourist destinations and events in and around Canada, and Calgary is coming up. Katja, I believe that you got a personal connection with Calgary.
That's right. My husband used to live there when we dated, and I visited Calgary a few times, and it's actually a wonderful place. And you know why?
Tell me.
The sun shines there almost every day.
She's obsessed with the weather.
I am.
For people in Holland and in Belgium, Calgary is possibly best known for the Calgary Stampede. Katja, I believe that you've been before. What's it like?
Oh, it's a wonderful event, Tom. And you have horses there, you have cows, you have rodeos, you have a big fair for the whole family. There's so many things to do. It's really a good thing. And the good thing is also the city is full of excitement.
Yep.
And everybody loves it.
I believe it's also the 100th anniversary this year.
Yeah, so this year it's a very special date.
And it's billed as the greatest show on earth.
That's right.
I really like all the parties and the celebrations, as well as the rodeo is a lot of fun, and mini donuts, as always.
Come on in, don't be shy.
How is it? That's good. Flapjack.
So we have pancake breakfast served, just like we do during the 10 days of Stampede every morning. They bake the beautiful bacon and maple syrup right into the flapjack, and you can enjoy it on the go. So help yourself, there's some delicious pancakes to share.
So why do you have so many?
I was actually going to give them to you so you could try them since you've never had them before. So you always have to, on the first time, you have to have more than one because they're so delicious that you'll want another one. So it's pre-preparing you.
Want this?
So they're cooking pancakes out of the back of the chuck wagon, and a chuck wagon is the original food wagon. So cowboys used to use the wagons for cooking, and so they have stoves in there and their tents and everything, and that's how they transported everything across the prairies. Thank you.
I'm a native Calgarian, born and raised here. My first job was with the Calgary Stampede many years ago, and now I'm a deputy fire chief for the City of Calgary Fire Department, and I am so proud of the Calgary Stampede, and everybody should come down and visit. It's 10 days of the most amazing fun you'll ever have, watching the cowboys, the nightlife, and all the fun events. And the pyrotechnics for this year is going to be spectacular throughout the city. It's a place to come and visit, and as a native Calgarian, I would like you all to come and say hello.
Okay, number 4, couple, volunteering. Step right up to the right learning is one time around. Now we trade, now we switch. You're pretty girl for my part.
This is the Centennial jacket that we have available. You can go and pick up in our mercantile. Has a lot of significance. It's done by a great Canadian company called Roots. They do a lot of the Olympic athlete clothing that you see. This jacket has a lot of significance to it. So this is the Stampede brand. This is what we actually brand our livestock with. Calgary Stampede has a ranch, 22,000 acres east of the city, and we actually raise our bucking stock there. And then a salute to our rodeo, and then just on the back is our centennial crest.
That was fast action.
We are so proud to have them with us here. So let's see if we can make as much noise as they do. Ladies and gentlemen, would you welcome the Calgary Stampede Showman! That's unbelievable. I cannot get over how many people are here. And if you're just joining us, folks, this is the 100-day countdown to the Calgary Stampede.
It's always nice to let people know what the world looks like from this perspective. Thank you very much, Dave. Thanks, Harry. Here we go. Thanks, Harry. Now, Dave, I have to tell you,
Yes?
a big long list of thank yous. I think you may have forgotten your makeup artists, your agents. But thank you all for being here. Look at this crowd. Look at all those cowboy hats. You know, 2012 has been and will continue to be the year of Calgary. We are celebrating so much this year. We are Canada's cultural capital. We're celebrating the 100th anniversary of so many things that are important to our city, from Calgary Recreation to the Calgary Public Library to that beautiful building that I get to go to work in every single day. And the biggest thing we're celebrating this year is that 100 years ago this week, a bunch of people met in the Alberta Hotel, just down the street here, now where you see Murrieta's and other great businesses owned by a great Calgary family of meals. They met in the Calgary Hotel and they talked about having a little party, putting this town of 40,000 people on the map. I think they did a pretty good job, don't you?
Of the Treaty 7 First Nation communities. We are very proud to accept the role as honorary parade marshals. Thank you. Thank you very much.
We are celebrating one of the biggest events of our city, our iconic event, the Calgary Exhibition and Stampede, the greatest outdoor show, celebrates its 100th birthday. What a perfect time to come to this city to experience not only that, but some of the nicest people in the world that will welcome you, an opportunity to experience all the outdoor attractions in our city, all the dining, wonderful hotels, and just minutes away, take your camper, take your car, and visit the Rocky Mountains. So this is the year to come to Calgary and experience also the cultural capital. Calgary has been designated cultural capital of Canada this year. So it'll be a year that everywhere you go, you're going to get a taste of Calgary.
Let's hear it again for our parade marshal, Mr. Ian Tyson.
And the best thing about coming to Calgary is you get to dress Western. So that's what I was looking for.
So come see us in Calgary next year, season 2013. Stampede's on then again for the 101st.
Canada to Leave is the online community for the Dutch living in Canada and the Canadians living in the Netherlands. Canada to Leave, wherever you live. This program is sponsored by Dutch, the full-color English language magazine about the Netherlands and its people, at home and abroad.
Hi everybody and welcome back. As you may know and realize, the Dutch have a huge affinity with cycling, and one of our colleagues, Talisa, recently went to Ottawa. So Talisa, when you were in Ottawa, who did you meet and what did you see?
Well, I had the chance to meet Hans Moor, who is the president of Citizens for Safe Cycling. He comes from Holland and he's a huge cycling fan, and he promotes cycling in Canada.
My name is Hans Moor. I'm the president of Citizens for Safe Cycling. I was born and raised in the Netherlands, and when I was 35 I came to Canada.
This program is sponsored by Dutch, the full-color English language magazine about the Netherlands and its people, at home and abroad.
TulipTV features tourist destinations and events in Canada, but also in Holland. Katja, I believe there's a cycling initiative that's coming up soon.
That's right. We were looking for interesting clips about the Netherlands, and we found on the YouTube channel by Tourism Holland a very beautiful series about people who cycle through Holland in 10 days.
We're here in Amsterdam, finally, after a nice 9-hour trip with KLM, and
it was a very comfortable ride.
Hi everybody! It's our first day here in Amsterdam, and we've spent a lot of the day just walking along the canals, and actually our hotel is just right over there.
At our hotel on the first day. We're about to speak to the managers. So tell us about this library.
Yeah, what you see is the hotel's library. We have a long tradition of working with publicity companies, publishers I should say, who invite their writers over to Holland when the book is being released in the Dutch version. And we come for promotional reasons. They almost always stay with us.
Oh, fantastic.
They have the interviews here, so we ask a copy of their book signed and a dedication of a few words in the guest book.
So all these books are signed by the authors?
While staying here.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And what you see here is about 2/3 of the collection. It really does not fit on the shelves anymore.
All the artwork on the walls. Tell us something a little bit about that.
This is the owner of the hotel is really collecting artwork. The works that you see here is more old style art in most of the rooms, and in the corridors is more new art, the Cobra group. Cobra stands for Copenhagen, Brussels, Antwerp. It's a group of painters who was famous in the 1960s, who lived in either one of those three cities. And they're much more modern, but also very beautiful.
One of the favorite pastime of the Dutch is to people watch. So this afternoon we had lunch at this nice little place here, and we sat down and we people watched. Now we're on our way to the restaurant VICO. Why don't you come join us?
The restaurant's just down here. It's down this cute little alleyway. You gotta be careful because we almost missed it. It's in one of the little nooks and crannies of the city. Vijflegen means 5 flies. Doesn't sound very appetizing, but it's one of the best restaurants in the city. I'm sitting here in the Vijflegen restaurant, which means 5 flies, and we're about to have a 5-course meal, which is going to be amazing. We have the opportunity to sit right in the window in the very front of this house.
Please remember, we are independent producers and we don't receive any grants. So if you want to fund us, please go to our website and click on donations.
Clearly we are on Dutch supporter mode here, and what we would like to do is wish Holland all the best for the start of 2012, Euro 2012, which kicks off next week.
That's
so,
right.
Hope Holland.
Hope Holland, and if you want to support us, go to Facebook or Twitter and follow us. Thanks.
Ciao.
Bye, see you next week.